They used to tell me I was building a dream with peace and glory ahead. Why should I be standing in line, just waiting for bread?
In 1933, you did what you had to do to survive. For many a young man living in Brooklyn, that meant boxing. But why would anyone want to become a boxer? I'll tell you why men become boxers. To make money.
And now we're ready to go here at Eastern Parkway Arena. An 8-rounder in the white trunks.
As Jack Dempsey once said, when you're fighting for one thing, money.
Now here are the ring officials assigned by the New York State Athletic Commission. Your referee for the main event, Teddy Martin. 10 rounds.
Teddy Martin was a poor boy who grew up to be a prize fighter, a coach for the New York Daily News Golden Gloves team, a professional fight referee, a union official, a bookmaker, and a liquor store owner. Teddy Martin was my dad. Dad's birth name was Louis Dolphy, but to disguise his boxing career from his parents, he took the name Teddy Martin. He did really well early on. So well that Sammy Goldman, the manager of Tony Canzonieri, the reigning lightweight champion, looked upon Dad as Tony's replacement when Tony retired. Unfortunately, as Dad was pitted against stiffer competition, his lack of a knockout punch, caused by a broken arm he suffered as a boy, hampered his progress as a boxer. Dad retired from boxing, but he so loved the sport that Paul Gallico, the sports editor of the New York Daily News, arranged for him to coach the Golden Gloves team and referee amateur boxing. Dad was in a quandary now. After earning about $600 a fight, a very nice sum during the Depression, he had to find a way to earn good money. Refereeing amateur boxing couldn't come close to matching his previous earnings. Dad's brother Joe got him a job with the New York Central Railroad at St. John's Station in Manhattan. It was here that his bookmaking career began. The workers at St. John's were big horse players, and they were always broke. Dad had saved a large sum from his boxing days, so he loaned the workmen the money to bet, and then booked their bets. Once World War II began, Dad refereed amateur boxing matches for the U.S. Navy. The Navy gave him an award for refereeing 2,800 bouts without any boxer suffering serious injury. It wasn't long before the mob heard of Dad's successful bookmaking career at St. John's Station. But they didn't try to muscle him. Instead, they offered him a bigger venue, the White Rose Tavern, opposite the General Post Office in Manhattan. Dad was making more money than ever. In 1945, Dad was granted a professional referee's license, making him the youngest pro referee in New York State at age 34. Joyce Carol Oates, a prominent author, had this to say about the role of the referee in her book on boxing. The third man in the ring is usually anonymous as far as the crowd is concerned, and appears to many observers, an observer himself, even an intruder. But so central to the drama of boxing is the referee that the spectacle of two men fighting each other, unsupervised in an elevated ring, would seem hellish, if not obscene. The referee makes boxing possible. During the 40s and 50s, Dad became a celebrity by appearing many times on TV. He was sought out by politicians, lawyers, mobsters, and many others. This led to a great deal of friction between Mom and Dad because of Dad's keeping late hours and drinking heavily. Nothing good lasts forever. It was because of Dad's celebrity that a notorious mobster pressured him to influence the outcome of a fight. Dad refused him, unlike many others in the boxing trade at that time. As a referee, he felt responsible for a clean fight, even if he could not control a fighter's performance.
Hiya, Teddy. Hey, I put in a request today for your services at the commission.
Request for my services? What do you mean by that?
You know, my guy is fighting next week. I asked to have you assigned as the referee.
What, you asked for the wrong guy? I don't do favors for nobody in the ring. I call him as I see him.
Who's asking for favors? All I want is a fair shake, and I was sure I'd get it from you.
If I was assigned by the commission to that fight, you could have been sure you'd get a fair shake. But now, by asking for my services, you could ruin my reputation with the commission. Let me tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to the commission and tell them I'm not going to be available.
Not gonna be available? I hear you, Teddy, but I don't like it.
I don't give a damn whether you like it or not.
You don't give a damn. Who the hell you think you are? I ain't gonna forget this.
The mobster vowed revenge and entrapped him in a photograph that showed Teddy in a chance meeting with the mobster. This photograph was sent to a New York newspaper and implied that Dad was in the mobster's employ. This started many years of legal procedures that cost Dad dearly, both professionally and financially. At one point, Dad was summoned to appear before the New York Boxing Commission.
Teddy, thanks for coming. Please take a seat. Teddy, this is an informal meeting of the commission. We're trying to gather information to clear the air with regard to the allegation and innuendo that is appearing almost daily in the newspapers.
Commissioner, I'm happy to appear before the commission. There's nothing I'd like better than to get a chance to tell my side of the story.
Very good, Teddy. Let's get down to the business at hand. What's your explanation for the pictures and comments of you sitting and drinking at a table in a restaurant with Mr. Paul Carbonara?
Well, Commissioner, it happened like this. I was out celebrating with a group of friends and heading to our table for dinner and having a few drinks at the bar. As we were walking to our table, Paulie, Mr. Carbonara, called out to me to come over to his table, which I did.
Are you trying to say that you were in a completely different group prior to the invite from Mr. Carbonara?
That's right. That's exactly right, Commissioner. It was just a coincidence that we were in the same restaurant on the same night. I was in a good mood. So when he called me over, I was curious as to what he wanted.
So what you're saying is that it was a chance encounter and a spur-of-the-moment decision to visit with Mr. Carbonara.
That's it, Commissioner. That's the way it happened. Ordinarily, I keep my distance from him.
Do you admit knowing Mr. Carbonara?
Yes, I do. Anyone who has been in boxing as long as I have, Commissioner, has to meet up with him, sooner or later. He's all over. At boxing matches, at promoters' offices, at the Garden, at St. Nick's, all over. Wherever boxing people get together, he's there.
Are you aware of Mr. Carbonara's criminal background?
Only what I read in the papers. I figured if he's allowed to hang around boxing people the way he does, it must be okay.
Did it ever occur to you that as a professional fight referee, a man whose reputation must be above reproach, that your reputation would be sullied by being seen in the same company of such a person as Mr. Carbonara?
Well, Commissioner, I have to admit that in the past, it did occur to me that I should avoid certain people. But I don't know whether it was the mood I was in, or the drinks I had, or the fact that Mr. Carbonara is always around boxing people. It just didn't occur to me that night.
So what you're saying, Teddy, is that it was a chance encounter and a momentary lapse in good judgment. Is that it?
Yes, Commissioner. That's exactly it. A lapse in good judgment. A chance encounter.
Okay, Teddy, that'll do for now. Will you please step outside the hearing room while the commissioners confer? We'll give you our determination presently.
Yes, of course, Commissioner.
Mr. Martin, they want you back in now.
We, the commissioners, and I appreciate this opportunity to hear your side of the story. We are satisfied that this was a unique occurrence and not part of some dark conspiracy to affect the outcome of boxing matches. But let me warn you, a stigma of conspiracy has been raised, and you will be closely watched in the future, as as to your selection of friends and associates, so I advise you to be careful and use good judgment. That is all.
While Dad was exonerated of any wrongdoing, his reputation was tarnished. Although he continued as a main event referee and as a boxing judge for many years, he never again refereed a main event at Madison Square Garden. The mobster was tried and convicted and sentenced to 25 years in jail. I like to think my dad's testimony played a part in his conviction. What you have seen is but a glimpse of a tapestry of an American life. Dad's life has inspired a book and an exciting dramatic screenplay that more fully reveals life with Mom and Dad. Both the book and screenplay are entitled The Third Man in the Ring. Readers describe it as having all the elements of The Godfather, Raging Bull, and The Days of Wine and Roses. Dad once said to me, "Princess, I want you to know that in all my years in boxing, I never ever influenced a fight. It cost me a fortune to clear my name, but in the end, Princess, that is all you have, your good name." Unfortunately, in the end, Dad suffered terribly by the mob's betrayal. Unlike the mob, that betrayal to me was not just business. To me, it was personal.